Hello, this is Dread, and in today's video topic, this is going to be my top 5 builds I recommend for Last Epoch Season 3, Beneath Ancient Skies. It's finally here, everybody. So, sorry for taking so long of getting this out, but I wanted to give people some time to actually theorycraft, because with all of the primordial uniques coming in, there was a lot of work to be done, so forgive me for that. But these are going to be builds that I personally would play and push next season. They're builds that I would personally want to play if I had infinite amounts of time. So let's talk about all 5, shall we? Something exciting I'm going to talk about real quick is I have become an affiliate for Maxroll. So this means we can talk about Maxroll builds. Make sure to go down below and check out the link maxroll.gg and check out all of the new fresh meta stuff that's been updated for this patch. And they definitely try to keep stuff updated as quickly as possible as the new stuff comes out. So make sure to peruse there if you want to just have something strong, you want to turn your brain off, and you just want to play the video game before you inevitably play PoE 2 and then be sad again. So another thing as well is I want to make sure you guys check out the community build section for maxroll.gg as well. That's where me and a lot of my friends who are recently become Maxroll affiliates are posting our content as well. So if you want to see what the community is working on as well, make sure to check them out as well. Now for this first build I want to be talking about is Carrion of Creation Bleed Infernal Shade Warlock. This is actually the build I'm going to be league starting, so if you want to see all of the updates for that, make sure to look out on my channel. But the idea here is we're utilizing the new Primordial Gloves, Carrion of Creation. The concept is to take all of that generic ailment chance that you get as a Warlock and transition it into Bleed, as Bleed is notoriously one of the strongest ailments currently in Last Epoch due to the fact that it has the most support in terms of uniques and affixes. Like for instance, we have stuff like Penetration with Bleed as a prefix. We have Blood of the Exiles, one of the best boots in the entire game even after the nerf. All of these things combined leading to this build being a lot stronger this patch. The concept, just push everything into Bleed and try to get as much Bleed chance as possible, and we're going to be popping our Infernal Shades. The idea is we grab this node, return below, and we cast Infernal Shade on the enemy, and then it's going to hit the target with Torment, and then it's going to pop the Infernal Shade and end its duration, which will then trigger the explosion inside Infernal Shade, which will then do a very large amount of damage. The idea is we have a very large base chance to bleed, and then we also scale it with all of this generic more damage modifiers. Like for instance, Fiery Conclusion is 200% more damage with our bleeds. Wildfires is 72% more damage with our bleeds. Heart of Fire is 60% more damage with our bleeds. Then we also have Blaze Shade, a 20% chance to do 20% more damage with our bleeds. And then we also have 150% more damage on top of that to do even more damage with our bleeds. And then of course, another 16% more damage. All of this combined leads to a character that's going to be stacking very large, thick bleeds. And I'm really excited to try this build out. You get to run a lot of fun tech. You get to run stuff like Plagueberry Staff, which converts all of that poison chance on hit into bleed chance on hit. Then we also get to run the 20% more damage over time against enemies affected by plague, which is just 20% more damage. And we also get to abuse the base type of the weapon, because we can use stuff like Titan Heart to get tankier, and we can run all of these affixes that normally we could not run before, like the Damned on Hit and Damned on Hit as well here, which can be converted into bleed chance on hit, which is very satisfying. Lightning Blast was buffed to absolute shit last patch, meaning that 2 people ended up covering Lightning Blast, specifically Spark Charge Lightning Blast. We have Frozen Sentinel, who made a Vilatria's version, and then we also had as well Pinching Loaf, who made another version of the same build. And due to them working on it together, we have ended up with a very refined version of Lightning Blast Runemaster. So why this ends up being so strong is because we can double dip now. Because of the Legends Entwined Ring, which counts as part of a set of every equipped set, it allows us to run something like Vilatria's. Vilatria's gives us a lot of spell lightning damage per intelligence, which then stacks with the Enigma as well, because you get +2 for spark charges per intelligence, and all of that combined means we get 3 flat damage per intelligence, equaling up to like 600 flat damage for our spark charges total, which leads to just significantly more damage than before, like way more damage. This build got buffed to the moon last patch thanks to all of the new stuff with Lightning Blast and how it functions now, and it also got buffed this patch because of Legends Entwined being able to abuse the Vilatria set without having to actually equip the staff. This is going to end up doing a lot of damage. This is footage from last patch doing 2000 corruption with complete ease, with just spark charge, lightning blast. If you ever want to, shoot out lightning bolts and cause giant lightning explosions, this is the character for you. Now, personally, both versions were completely fine, and they're both completely fine, but Pinching Loaf's version, he focused a little bit more on hardcore, as he is a hardcore streamer. He plays a lot of hardcore, so if you want a more hardcore oriented version, I would make sure to check out his version. But if you just want to use the power of math and spreadsheets to do as much damage as humanly possible, that's what Frozen Sentinel's version is for. They're both people I respect and I love covering on this channel. Definitely check them out as well, and they're also Maxroll affiliates as well, so make sure to check out their links as well. Now for the next build is going to be Wildfire Ignite Heartseeker. So if you don't know, next patch, one of the primordial items that are entering the fold is Wildfire Embers. The biggest thing that we care about on this item is every second while in combat, your ignites are spread among nearby enemies. This is a very important line, because one of the biggest problems with Heartseeker was the clear. Heartseeker does not have that good of clear at a base. It is a single target oriented skill. The problem is what you'd end up doing is you'd end up trying to have some clear by sacrificing damage, or you sacrifice your clear and go giga damage, like recently, like Lizard would do like a bleed and poison variant for Heartseeker that literally shouldn't be used for anything other than killing Uber Aberoth, right? And trying to find that balance is very hard. Thankfully, Wildfire Embers covers that due to having free spread. So what's going to happen is your Heartseeker is going to go and find enemies. You're going to apply ignites to them. Those ignites are going to spread to nearby enemies, and it's going to improve the reach of your Heartseeker. Another reason why I really like this build is it's also utilizing the Drokor's Compass tech. So if you don't know how the Drokor's Compass tech works, Heartseeker has a 3 or 4 mana cost to start out with, which is really annoying because we really want to be generating mana to create as many burning daggers as possible. We want to be generating burning daggers because they're just extra hits to do more damage because they can apply our ignite chance, right? It's just a lot of extra clear. Normally, you couldn't do this easily if you have a mana cost on your Heartseeker, because not only would it take a lot of points to get down to Heart Drain, it would also you'd be constantly running out of mana, like all the time. But because of Drokor's Compass giving you a generic -4 bow mana attack cost, it reduces this mana cost to 0, which means you can benefit from part of the Marksman's tree here, specifically Mana Wrap, where it'll increase the mana cost of your Heartseeker, but since it's 0 mana cost, it doesn't matter. And it'll actually end up giving you a lot more mana than before, and you can actually sustain the significant amounts of mana that you'd normally be consuming with Heartseeker, and it turns it to a 0 mana cost spell, and it makes it way easier to deal with the Burning Dagger mana cost. Both really good techs for this build. Also as well, we get to abuse Ashes of Mortality. One of the bigger problems with Marksman is it's usually just not tanky enough for endgame. Well, it turns out if you have 2000 ward every 2 seconds, up to 1000 ward per second, that can make your Marksman build go from meh to absolutely amazing. Also, Trickster is a very good friend of mine. He's a very respected member of the community. He plays a lot of rogue, so if you want a pew pew kind of like Marksman build, I would heavily suggest something like this, as this will end up feeling very good in theory as long as Wildfire Embers holds its part of the bargain. Also as well, something interesting is one of the bigger problems with Marksman in general is having enough HP, chunk, And this has a lot of percent HP. So this item is just cracked for Marksman, which I'm really excited that he actually saw that combo and is going to be pushing this build. I'm really excited for it. Very, very excited to see how well this build ends up performing in game. So the next build we're going to be talking about is going to be Earthquake Bear Beastmaster by Lizard and, the Maxroll team. The concept of this build is to try to make your summon bear do the thickest, and I mean the thickest crits for Earthquake as possible for your summon bear. Summon bear is getting a lot of changes next patch. Minions are getting a lot of love, and this is like the first time in a long time that I've been excited for minions in last epoch, and this is definitely something that I would play and push if I wasn't already playing other builds, and I'm very thankful that there are other people who can cover this content instead, because I get to watch summon bear walk up to Uber Aberoth and punch him with an earthquake. That's going to be really entertaining. Definitely a build I can recommend. Just being able to just like summon a giant bear and have it walk up to a boss and just smack it into the ground, like that's going to be hella fun. I'm really excited for that. And I'm really excited to see how this functions in game. The damage numbers look absurd. We don't have a way to test this build beforehand, but it's definitely something that I could recommend from what I've seen from the numbers. Now, the last build I want to recommend is pretty much any Sentinel. Sentinel did not get touched too much this patch. Like Erasing Strike didn't get hit that much, Warpath didn't get hit that much, and Judgment did not get hit that much. So if you are a Sentinel enjoyer, then rejoice, as the nerfs that were maintained to Sentinel this patch are going to easily be recapped by having primordial uniques. So have fun. The personal one I want to recommend is the Smite Fissure Paladin. This is what I league started last patch with, and it was an absolute breeze. Absolutely amazing. Not only did the clear feel really good with the auto-targeting smite, causing the big pools of damage, it also just felt very comfortable to play. Like, it was just a complete ride the entire time, and I cannot grease its wheels enough. And with the primordial uniques, it means that we could probably push it to do Uber Aberoth or something like that. Last patch, I wasn't really sure if you could push it to Uber Aberoth last patch, but the problem was there was no point in doing so because you could just play Judgment instead. But like I said, with the new primordial uniques and stuff like that, there's probably going to be a way that we can scale the damage significantly farther to the point where we can actually play this into meta content. And it's definitely something that I'm going to be looking forward to actually pushing. But for day one, all the way to week one, where you push to 1,000 corruption, you just farm for a bit and then work on a different character, this character worked really well for that. And I'm really proud at its potential. I'm really excited to play it again eventually when I have the time. So definitely check this one out. Now, with all that being said, this has been Dread. There's a lot of builds out there. Choose your own. I'll be honest, you could just watch this entire video and just not choose any of these. Choose something else. Like, there's so much out there right now with the primordial uniques. Please go have fun. There's so much. Don't feel like as though you need to play someone else's build right now. There's so much out there. Please, for the love of God, play something. It looks amazing. With all that being said,